What's up, tribe? Today we are spreading some viral love. We're going to be doing a live Q&A. We've got lots to get through, lots of great emails I've received. I want to initiate my reading an email out to give some love back to someone on the stream. We've got a couple of really good questions that have come in from our UMS online coaching tribe that we think you will all benefit from. And we'd like to give a massive shout out to everyone who's jumped on the UMS 30-day challenge and downloaded the Waking Up app since yesterday. We got some great response from that. We're going to go through all of that and more in just a sec.
Hey everyone, in case we haven't met, my name's Rad Burmeister. That's my brother Yanni Burmeister. We're the co-founders of Unity Gym and the co-creators of the UMS, the Unified Movement System, where we turn driven people into superhumans. If you want to know how we do that, you don't know yet already, there's a couple of freebies that you can get. You can grab our flexibility blueprint, the strength blueprint, or the nutrition blueprint. There's going to be a link in the description of this video. And yeah, welcome to the show.
Welcome. And before we get started on today's topics, I'd like to give a special guest welcome to the Death Star. It's back. It's made another appearance on the show. For those of you who don't know, that's Rad's gaming PC that's meant to be a laptop, but it looks like an Atari 64 with an inbuilt monitor.
It's a weapon.
The first thing I'd like to do is we didn't do it yesterday on the show, I think just because we forgot, but I'd like to read out a couple of emails that I received in the last 48 hours just to send some love back. First one comes from Nadia. Hi guys, thanks for your honesty and relentless efforts in these tough times. This is a Unity Gym Tribe member. I want to tell you what and how you guys are doing is amazing and very inspiring. Even though I haven't been a member for very long, I have enjoyed being a member and am currently loving the home workout, and Rad yelling at the camera is a bit of normality for me in the morning. I will remain a member for the foreseeable future as I am working in an essential service telecommunications. Hang in there, sending all the energy, positivity, vibes to you all. Positive vibes to you all. Sending a virtual hug to each of you. Take care of yourselves and your families, and I will see you at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for the live stream. P.S. I have shared the link with my Facebook friends and colleagues as well. So much love back to you, Nadia, and it really means a lot when you share those workouts, guys, in the morning, because it helps us on our mission to spread viral fitness. That wasn't my idea, that was Phil's idea. Big shout out to Phil White, aka Dr. Phil, for that one. It's really, really nice to get that little dose of love every evening when I only check my emails twice a day due to my productivity methods, and I always finish the day just reading through all of the love that's been sent from the daily Inner Circle email. If you're not part of my Inner Circle group, you've got to either download one of those blueprints that Rad talked about just before. You can get access to that on our website, www.unitygym.com, or you can just jump on the website and subscribe to the blogs, to the newsletter, and that's what I call my Inner Circle. Now, Rad's got a couple of really, really good sort of questions that have come through from our UMS online coaching. Let's talk about Becca Perry first.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Becca Perry has said, I just put out my low back doing the Jefferson curls without any weight, any advice, encouragement, etc. As I lie here, and she's had a whole bunch of input from Blakely and Biwa, two of our moderators and superstar members, which I'm not going to go through, so I'm just going to respond to this as though that you haven't had any responses here. You can, yeah, look, you can put your back out doing a lot of things.
Let's just quickly try and use the right terminology from the get. The term putting your back out is sort of loosely thrown around. It's usually just a muscle spasm that you experience there. And, without having Phil on the show, which is something we're working desperately on, getting him tapped in through a Skype call when we launch the new software with the new camera kit and everything, that's what we're going to be able to do. We've got one more piece of hardware on its way, and then that'll enable us to make that leap properly. My understanding is that it's a spasm occurring, and spasms can occur, and without proper diagnosis, like without actually consulting with someone like Phil, who's a qualified physiotherapist, we can't give you definitive feedback. We can make recommendations and suggestions as to how we would approach it if it was our body, but you really do want to get together with a professional who's qualified to do this. My understanding of a back spasm is that the best thing for it is to essentially move through it. And I say that by, people take anti-inflammatories immediately. That's the immediate response. And the new literature is sort of suggesting that that's not the right thing to do. Inflammation is a necessary process for the body to move through, to heal whatever's going on in there. The spasm occurs for a variety of reasons, but usually because your body is feeling vulnerable for whatever reason, whether it's a lack of strength or a lack of flexibility. There's something compromised there that is causing the body to signal that muscle to tighten up and to produce an experience of discomfort or pain to prevent you from doing something that might cause serious harm. And unless there's an existing underlying issue there that needs to be addressed, usually keeping your body moving is a good thing, and it can be as simple as going for a walk. Getting the hips moving, getting that really nice flowing gait pattern is really good. You can do some base level activation, core activation exercises. There's all sorts of different movements, and the guys I did see had linked a couple of good ones there. But I would always, try and align yourself with someone like Dr. Phil.
Well, but let's give some more realistic advice for what is going on right now at home. If you can actually, I just tuned out there and realised, Phil actually does do home online consults now.
Everything he's doing is online.
Everything is online now. So I would actually definitely recommend that would be your first point of call. Do a consult with Phil, because you will get the legit advice and he'll be able to assess you over a Skype call. That said, in my experience, I've suffered back pain a lot over my life. If you don't know, we talk about this a lot.
Put your hand up if you have back pain issues.
Spondylolisthesis is something I've got, and a pars defect. They're both two separate issues that are down in the same area of the L4, L5 of my spine, and it caused me chronic back pain at times through my life. And I've had flare-ups where I would get up and I used to do martial arts, and I'd be doing martial arts and I'd do a kick or something and I'd go, like that, and then I couldn't walk for a while. And what I learned over decades of trial and error is that there are a couple of things you need to do. You have to allow the inflammation to go down. Total rest is not the right idea, but you have to not do things that cause spasming pains like that. So things like using a foam roller and a massage ball in a way that doesn't cause more pain is good. And where do you use it? You just have to explore, It's not always localized. Like I found for my lower back pain, one of the areas that gave me some of the biggest relief after spending months and months and months, might have even been years, like just hammering where I actually felt the pain, until I just got to a point I was like, wow, I really can't massage this anymore. And then I moved on to my glutes and my ITB and quads, basically all the muscles that control not all the muscles, but muscles that control the hip socket and the hip joint, sorry. And I immediately experienced relief in my lower back, as soon as I started working on those areas. So it's like a self-exploration thing. And then it's also just doing gentle movement, like gentle spinal waving, like what we teach in the online coaching program, is going to help you. Yeah. And it's all about this progressive thing. Like injuries, in my experience, we get really deflated when we get injured, and rightly so. We set these grand goals for ourselves, and then all of a sudden get injured and you can't do the exact thing that you planned out for yourself that you were going to be doing. But in my experience, Yanni's experience and Rich's experience, injuries are always a window into the next level of progression with our own training and our own bodies. I know you've definitely experienced that. I definitely have, most recently with my shoulder, having a slap tear and torn rotator cuff, and multiple other injuries, on the MRI report. And it just caused me to level up into into where I am now. And I'm very, very strong now and very capable. Richard was only yesterday just talking about how good his squats were feeling after last year, spending probably about a year just going back and forth, where every time he tried to squat a little bit of weight, he injured himself really he was getting patella pain, was a pain under the patella, yeah, and it just wasn't going away. And after working with Phil and understanding some of the exercises to do and the regressions, he was saying yesterday, man, my knee's feeling really good, and I'm squatting 120 kilos. And I made a point of saying to him, and look at how much you know about the knee now. Like, you never would have known that stuff. You never would have understood how to do that. So it sucks in the moment, but there's massive opportunity to level up. And we're going to talk about that a little bit with some of these other people's issues here as well today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I just say something real quick? I just realised I didn't realise, I made the executive decision to do this. We've had a lot of people lately saying, I really want to share this, but I can't, because the UMS Movement Mastermind has been a private group until thus far, and we've evolved the way that we do things. I just made a decision to turn it into a public group because people are constantly asking to share this stuff. They want to get it out to their friends and they can't. So we're going to see how that goes, but you can now share these videos. I've just shared this live video to my timeline, and you still need to be approved into the group to join it, but you can share our videos now. You can share the posts that are in this group.
There you go.
So
I did not realise.
Yeah, I didn't realise that either. We're all still learning how to do this stuff. Should I move on to the next one?
Well, one last thing I want to address with that is, Becca, you nailed it here, and I think Biwa also brought this up too in her answers to you, and she's really gone deep, which I commend her for. Movement in general is medicine, and you've sort of suggested to just do should I just do the 18-minute stretch routine? And I think that's a really good idea, because this is what Becca suggested, and B was talking about how movement is her medicine, and she's given her a bit of a routine to do. I believe that when you get an issue like this, it's not always about compartmentalizing it and thinking, oh, Jesus, my lower back, because you don't know what compromise has caused the lower back to spasm. And my approach, which I think is the best approach I've seen, is that you just focus on doing something for the whole body rather than really localizing your focus to just your lower back, and you sort of said it there, like sometimes you get the best relief from something totally what seems on face value to be unrelated to the actual symptom, but it is all connected. The body is not this separate system of separate structure, a system of separate structures. It's all connected, Yep. And I do recall when I started learning massage, which I'd never finished. I never got qualified as a massage therapist. When you look at real bodies, not images of muscle diagrams, it's all meshed together, and that you can't even tell where one muscle starts and one muscle finishes in most cases, although we have these beautiful diagrams in books and things like that, when you look at the real thing, it's just a big, it's a big pile of systems interconnected and working together. So work on the whole body, and I think you'll get more relief than just trying to focus on hitting that one area of symptomatic pain.
Yeah. It's always just an evolution. Your body evolves, you get better, and this saying "Rome wasn't built in a day" is just so critical to understand here. Yep. So should I move on to the next one here?
Yeah, very quickly. We just realised we don't have all the lights on. Yeah. Very quickly, guys. Whoever's on the live stream, I know we got a few. Let us know who's there, who's watching, and where you're watching from.
Oh, and share it, please. For the first time ever, you can share this.
Yeah,
please
share this video.
Click the share button and just share it to your timeline. Just say, hey, check out these two, ugly
awesome-looking guys. Yeah, I was going to go the other way.
Okay, so I'll get into who we got? I'll get into Heath Jackson's comment here.
Yep.
So Heath Jackson is a new member in the UMS.
Watch this. Let There Be Light
online coaching program. And Heath has said, I'm stuck on where to be in my progression, having scapular control / strength issues and shoulder mobility issues. Should I stop the UMS program until that is fixed, or go through the shoulder rehab and scapular exercises while still doing the program? Great question, and you should definitely not stop the UMS program. The UMS is the be-all and end-all for what we do. That is the gold standard for our teachings, and everything else that we offer is a fragment of what the UMS is. Highly valuable in and of itself, but it's a piece of the puzzle. The UMS is the whole picture, the UMS online coaching program. So the whole thing about the UMS is that it is completely customizable to everybody's needs. And it takes time to understand exactly how to customize it. And that time and that experience is something that should evolve every 6 weeks. And this was really hard for me to understand years and years ago when I just, especially when I remember when I started calisthenics training only a few years ago, and I'd so desperately, I was a personal trainer already. I'd had X amount of years of experience, but I decided now that I wanted to learn how to do calisthenics and how to be really flexible. And I just wanted, because I was
just
already...
Try not to bump the table.
Yeah, sorry.
The mics are on the table.
I just wanted to go from where I was to where I wanted to be just so quickly. And I didn't know the best way to write the program. But what I had was a fanatical thirst for betterment, so I was constantly writing and evolving my own programs based on everything that I knew. And then when you look back on 6 months, you look back on what you were doing and you think, oh man, I would never do that again. But it was that evolution, those changes throughout my periodization that got me to where I was in my knowledge. And the same thing is going to happen for all of you that are doing the UMS online coaching. So you start the UMS, you've done it for however long you've done it for, Heath, and then you all of a sudden go, oh, wow, I've got this and this and this issue. I need to change my program. The answer is not stop the UMS. The answer is to modify it to yourself. So the first thing I'm going to say is so many people have scapular control issues. That is not a thing to be concerned about. The first thing to do is to understand to do exactly what you're already doing, but reduce the load and focus on the control. So that means when you're doing the trap 3 raise, when you're doing the bent over rows, when you're doing scapular push-ups, when you're doing shrugs, when you're doing anything that involves scapular movement, reduce the load to a level where you can control the scapula properly. That's the first thing that people get wrong. They do a lot because often you're doing such light weights. Like if any of you watch the workout or joined in on the workout that I just did, the at-home live workout, I was doing trap 3 raise with no weight. And the pain, the shaking in my body is very, very real. Without any weight in my hand, I'm still able to stimulate muscle growth and strength growth just through controlling my body properly. So often people grab like a half kilo weight or a 1 kilo weight, which is what they should be doing, or maybe even no weight on a scapular control exercise, and they think, well, this is ridiculous. I could throw this weight around. So they grab a heavier weight, but then they completely lose the ability to control what's going on in the scapular movement. So that's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is you're having shoulder mobility issues. There's a couple of things you can do with that. Number one is to make sure that every week that you get the upper body flexibility routines done. So start with the mobility masterclass exercises for the back bridge, and you don't have to actually even do the last couple of exercises, which is where you do the back bridge, but all the stuff that you do in the start of those workouts that releases the pecs and helps with shoulder flexion, that's going to be really, really good for you. And then you can move into the end range strength things. So you just make sure that you get those workouts done twice a week, okay? And you do them at least 3 days apart or 2 days apart at least. That's the second thing to do. And the third thing to do that I would say, based on your concerns here, is you could do the shoulder rehab program where you basically, on your bent arm strength days and straight arm strength days, you could get rid of everything in the second part of the workout. So you only do the A1 and A2 exercise. And what you could do is, on Monday, bent arm strength, you could do vertical push-pull. Don't worry about horizontal push-pull. Just get your 5 sets of vertical push-pull done. And then the whole rest of the workout is just the shoulder conditioning, the shoulder rehab program. And then on Thursday, you do horizontal push-pull, where all you do is 5 sets of horizontal push-pull and nothing else from that workout that's written in the UMS program. And then you do the shoulder rehab program. So re-watch this. Rewatch it again and rewatch it again, because I've just given you a very customized way that you can deal with your issues, and everyone can do that with the UMS.
Yeah, that's right. And we're working on a
mic drop.
We're working on I guess a mini course on how to structure your workouts with all the different components, including the baseline UMS program, the rehab programs, and the master classes for calisthenics skills, just so that you know how to put it all together exactly like what Rad's doing. So that will be launched eventually in the coming months, just to help you guys put it together. We're putting together some what we call cheat sheet posters that we use in the gym for that, and we'll make it available to all you guys soon as well. Steve, I have linked Phil's philwhitephysio.com. He is in the process of rebranding to Switched On Physio, but that will come later. I'm pretty sure you can still get hold of him through his website links there, and you can book an appointment.
B was just commented here, it's a mental challenge for sure. Can I just say, I'm going to give another shout out to Biwa Kwan, Tom Wood and Blakely Harnage. How good are these people around the world that are, giving their time for free to help you all with your training? Like, you guys are just so amazing, and we're so grateful to have you in the tribe.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay, so we've got one more to go through here, Yanni.
Yep.
So I haven't actually read this one. It's a pretty long one.
Neither have I.
So let me get through it here. So Dan Christensen, new member of the UMS online coaching program. Welcome, brother, and thanks for giving us a comment here. So I'm wondering which programs I should be following. So for those of you that don't understand, if you're watching this, the UMS online coaching program for $49 a month gives you access to everything that we offer. It is such a valuable online coaching program. It's not even funny. All these programs that we're selling individually, it's all included in it for $49 a month. So Dan is saying, I'm wondering which programs should I be following? My goals are to improve happiness and longevity, great goals, and I think that increasing mobility is a means to that end. I'm also practicing Jiu-Jitsu weekly, which limits the time available for other workouts. Jiu-Jitsu would greatly benefit from an increase in mobility, but also has advantages gained through strength and endurance. So here's a little about myself. I was in pretty good shape up until about my late 20s when I started having kids. Endurance was my best trait, but I did lift some weights as well. Working out got removed from the dwindling priority list. Mid-30s, I'm not in terrible shape now, but I'm not even close to where I was. I've never been super flexible, but I tried to always stretch. Even when working out got cut, I tried to stretch as often as I remembered. I've been working to master the 18-minute stretching routine because that seemed to fit the need that I had. I do pretty much all of it at a slightly lower pace and use it to relax and unwind. It takes me about 30 minutes. That's awesome. That's a great use of the 18-minute stretching routine. Now that our kids are getting a little older, I have some more time to add working out into my schedule. Jiu-Jitsu competes for some of that time, and I can do stretching every day as that is separate from the workout. I usually stretch right before bed for about 30 minutes. That leaves 3 to 4 days a week for a workout. 1 to 2 of those might be jiu-jitsu, so I would need to plan that is flexible enough to accommodate 1 to 4 days a week. So to recap, my requirements are: number 1, balance of strength, endurance, and flexibility for jiu-jitsu itself. Number 2, need end range strength for jiu-jitsu and life. Number 3, incorporate into a schedule which already includes 1 to 2 days of jiu-jitsu and 5 days of stretching for 30 minutes. Number 4, accommodate a schedule of 1 to 4 days a week, 3 to 5 total for this new programs. I was thinking I might try something like the Mobility Masterclass until I get to a certain skill proficiency, then switch to the UMS Foundations program. But then I see things like the Strength and Flexibility Essentials mini course, Foundation Movement System, and the loaded stretching routine, and I wonder if I should be doing one of those instead. So this is a really great thread that I think so many people can relate to. Because it's this idea of, I'm going to, if you're somebody that has big goals, this is one of the biggest problems people have. It's analysis paralysis.
Yep.
It's this idea of, I've got these goals and I can do this time and there's so much out there for me to choose from. I mean, the first choice is, do I go with the UMS program or do I go with one of the other thousands of online programs out there? And we honestly believe that what we're doing is the best thing that you can possibly do if you're somebody just like Dan who has generalized goals.
Yep.
I honestly believe that, and that's backed up by Phil, who has a lot of skin in the game, a degree in exercise sports science, over a decade experience, physiotherapist. What we do is very, 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 very
Massage
good.
massage therapist,
and worked with many high level athletes. So first thing I'm going to say is it's actually so much simpler than you think. You've hit it right on the head here. Number 1 goal, balance strength, endurance, and flexibility for jiu-jitsu life. That's the UMS right there. It is a perfect balance between strength and flexibility. You don't even need to, for the time being, you don't even need to look at any of the other programs. You just go straight into the UMS program because that has the strength and flexibility that you need to do in there, and it will create endurance with you. Number 2, this is the other thing I'll say before Yanni jumps in here. All of the other things that you've said here, need end range strength, yes. Incorporate into a schedule, yes. Accommodate the schedule into my life, yes. The number 1 goal for you right now is to just get a habit. is to just
Yeah.
start moving and do it between
Well,
that
he's
one
moving
and 4
already,
days a
but to
week. Yep.
adjust the habit to be
So that you can incorporate the
prioritizing the
UMS.
important
Yep.
things, which is the strength, the balance, strength, flexibility balance.
And it's just the UMS. At the most, anybody that's watching this that's just started our program, if you open up the dashboard and you look at all those programs, there's a real reason why the first program, the progressions program, says start here in really big capital letters. I don't want you to look at anything else. Click on that, start there, watch the very first video, and the very first video gives an explanation about how all of these other programs will come into your training later. Later.
Yeah.
Right now, you just focus on either the Foundations program or the Progressions program. And at your level, Foundations program guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. That's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. And
Absolutely.
it's a 4-day-a-week program. So if you can't do 4 days a week, just do 3. If you can't do 3 days a week, just do 2. And basically, it doesn't matter what, even though it says Monday workout and Tuesday workout, just work through those workouts from 1 to 4. If you do 2 days 1 week, do the first 2 days, and then the next week start at day 3, and just keep cycling through those 4 workouts like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And, you know, we've had a lot of jiu-jitsu enthusiasts come through the gym. We've had guys come through who are state level champions and things like that. And one thing that we do notice when you're competing at a very high level with a sport like jiu-jitsu, it's extremely demanding. And when you introduce another form of exercise that's also demanding on the body, you are going to experience a period of time where you will have to adapt. And during that period of adaptation, often performance at the thing you're used to, the level of performance that you're accustomed to, can drop off a little bit temporarily until your body is used to the added stimulus. And that's something that we've had guys really struggle with, you know, because they've come here with the best of intentions to level up strength and flexibility, which will absolutely complement their jiu-jitsu. But for a period of time, it can be up to like 4 to 6 weeks, the first program phase, you experience a decline in your jiu-jitsu ability because you're more fatigued. You're doing more. And so one of them has to give initially. You either reduce the amount of jiu-jitsu you're doing, or you accept that your jiu-jitsu is going to, your ability, your endurance is going to be affected for a short amount of time until your body adapts to the added stimulus. And like some people, that it's a real messes with their head a little bit, you know. So what I advise is that if you are starting to increase your external load, it's about load management, you know. Don't set huge audacious goals in the middle of a peak season or something like that, you know, where you're having to compete. If you've got competitions coming, things like that, it's not a good time to start messing with your load and the amount of volume of exercise that you're doing, because it can really affect your performance. Saying that, you know, the amount of professional athletes that we've had come through who have said, all right, I'm just going to focus on this for a while and then I'm going to go back and hit my sport in a couple of months' time, whether they're doing that in the off season or whether they're doing that because they just can, and they can minimize the amount of load or manage the load coming from their sport, they always go back faster, stronger, and performing at a much higher level. Yeah. You know, so you just got to suck it up for that period of time and go, okay, I'm not going to give jiu-jitsu in this case, or soccer, football. We've had very high level football athletes, rugby league athletes, you know, they just have to put that sport on a back seat for a little bit, on a back burner for a little bit, come in, nail a few program phases and level up their flexibility and strength, and then go back. And, you know, the ideal format for that is to do it in your off season. But a lot of you guys that do jiu-jitsu, you don't have an off season. You just, it's the same with any martial art. We used to do martial arts. I used to box competitively for on and off for 16 years. I boxed competitively as an amateur. You know, I never had an off season. You know, you become addicted to the process, which is great. You know, but it's not the best programming methodology to use.
Yeah, it's amazing what, can I just say, before I make this comment, I'm just going to give a shout out to Vinnie Brown here. Vinnie Brown is hosting a watch party right now, which I don't even know what that is. It's obviously, trying to get people to watch the same show, but of our live show right now. So it's just come up in the Movement Mastermind. So massive shout out, Vinny. Thank you so much for taking, living with one of our core values, which is to take massive action and throw this stuff out there to help your friends and people that could benefit from this. If anybody else wants to do that, when we do these live shows, it'd be so beneficial to us, and we would really appreciate it. So thank you, Vinny Brown. Big shout out to you, brother, and anyone that's joining you on your on your watch party. Look, it's. I did martial arts as well for a long time. Yanni and I both did, and whenever you try to level up, the amount of training that you're doing, there's this whole thing of, where you're at right now, what you can comfortably do is comfortable for you, and as soon as you try and go to that next level, it really hurts you, and it makes you feel like it's really, really tough. But that adaptation happens pretty quickly, and all of a sudden, what was tough is now totally comfortable for you, and that process continuing to happen over and over and over again, it turns people into superhumans.
Absolutely.
And as long as you're remembering, Dan, the things that you're saying about why you're doing this, you want to improve your happiness and longevity. And if those are your goals, then, you're starting with the end in mind, which is a really, really good, really powerful stance and one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. You want to start with the end in mind, and then from there you reverse engineer what it is that you're going to do. And if that's the case, you don't need to be the best. You don't need to outperform anybody else. All you need to do is be better today than you were yesterday. And if you take that approach and just allow it to unfold,
that's going to fall on deaf ears to someone who's competing in jiu-jitsu. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
it's a competitive sport.
Okay. Did he say that he's actually competing? Even though I read it.
Anyone who's doing jiu-jitsu, man, jiu-jitsu. If you go to jiu-jitsu, you are rolling around.
I'm practicing jiu-jitsu weekly.
Yeah. You're rolling around on the mat with other people, and you either win or you either get dominated or you dominate.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But you also, as you get older, the way that you do your training changes and evolves.
Yeah. Look, there's always an element when you're participating in any sport. Sport is about competition, and you're competing against other people. So it's very hard to tell someone who's competing in a sport or playing a sport or participating in a sport that they're not competing against people. I just think that's the wrong. It's a message that's going to fall on deaf ears to someone.
Maybe it is, but I'm going to back it.
You can dive in and tell me otherwise, brother, if you want, Dan, but and anyone else who's watching. But I've been involved in competitive sport for most of my life, and I know what it's like. And you're leveling up because you want to be the best, or compete at a high level, be able to hold your own with the best. Anyway, we digress. Who else? That's it. That's all 3. All right. Well, look, the last thing I did want to sort of talk about is the massive response we had from people from yesterday's show. We're doing this initiative that really started with the at-home workouts. That was the first phase or the first step of the 30-day challenge, UMS 30-day challenge. The second step to the 30-day challenge was to start doing 10 minutes of daily meditation.
Yeah, I'm going to do a post today where I'm going to say everybody chime in who's joining in on the UMS 30-day challenge. And the at-home workouts is actually really a bonus because we're starting the 30-day challenge from today.
So from yesterday.
Yeah. No, today, because yesterday we announced it. Today was the first day that they did the meditation, or hopefully did it.
Yep.
So I'm going to do a post where I'm going to ask people to put their name down so that you can be held accountable for it. You've got to throw your hat in the ring. If you've got to be in it to win it.
Yep.
And some other motivational slogans that I can't think of right now.
Oh heck! So yeah, guys.
I did mine today.
If you haven't yet, download the Waking Up app from Sam Harris. The first 5 meditations are free, and you can just repeat those like Rad did because he's a tight ass for about 6 months before he started paying Sam for his time. But Yeah, look, just do that. Just do
Get into
that.
it.
Make that your first step, and we're going to release another step next week. We'll do it on Mondays because it just feels better. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. Just get started is the message of the day. Just get started. Focus on the small wins, and we'll go from there.
See you tomorrow, everyone.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, it's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that
It's the
far.
consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.